Yo, what's going on YouTube? How you guys doing? So we are reviving a Dead series that I have not done in a very long time, and these are the gameplay reviews. This is a series I used to do a lot. There was a period in time where this was like the main content on my channel, and it was almost everything that I uploaded, but I've not really uploaded one in a while. But due to popular demand, we're bringing it back. So this video I have right now was one that was submitted. Now, I didn't have a lot of options in terms of what to do because of how dead this series is, but this is something that was submitted. This was from before the most recent patch. So this is basically the biggest difference is that Dead Heart is still alive, basically, right? Dead Heart is still alive. Pop Goes the Weasel is still a relevant perk. So think about before the most recent patch how the game was, and that's what this game is going to be. So it's going to be a little different in terms of perks that are used and everything, but I think I'll still have good advice in terms of general gameplay and stuff. If anything would be different, it might be the builds, but I think I can still give good advice. I'm throwing this edit in last minute, but I also just wanted to say that if you guys are interested in having your own video reviewed, okay, first off, if you guys even like the series, let me know, because I don't even know if I'm going to be continuing to do this. But if you guys like the series, and if you would like to have your own gameplay reviewed, I opened up the channel in Discord again where you can submit. So if you guys want to submit your own stuff, you can join my Discord. It's linked down below, or you can just type discord.gg/OhTofu into a browser and it'll link you as well. And in that Discord, there's a channel called Gameplay Review Submissions where you can submit your gameplay. Just make sure that the quality is good and that I can tell what's going on. Make sure there's no like bad audio or anything. And also make sure that there's no commentary. And also make sure that it's a loss. I don't want to review games where you like win and you're just trying to flex because it's just lame. All right? Like, give me a loss. Give me a loss so that I could actually give you some stuff to work on. So essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to watch this game out, and I'm just going to give tips where I can, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to help as best I can to give you advice on what you're doing right and wrong. And I might crack some dumb jokes here and there too. I don't know. We'll just find out when I'm in the middle of it. So this is a Huntress game that was submitted by Aki, who is somebody who's been around my community for quite a while. And so just going right into it right off the bat, it looks like you don't have a lot of perks. You're about prestige. Well, actually, you're not even prestige. You're just level 50. You like actually go through your perks. That noise is kind of weirdly loud for some reason. So like you don't really have much of anything, right? Now, obviously, it's hard for me to even talk about builds because again, everything is so different. So like I feel like this build maybe is fine, sure. Like why not? Like in this video, it's hard to say because all the perks are different now. So I'm not going to stress too much about the build. But normally I probably would talk about it. Normally I'd probably talk about the builds a little bit more, but what are you going to do? They burnt a heart locket and a bunch of flans. All right. Okay, we got Thompson House. So before I even start the video, I just want to say because it's Huntress, I'm going to try to avoid giving you the advice of just aim better, because I know that like a lot of times what happens with Huntress gameplay reviews is that you just kind of miss obvious shots, and you know, really the only solution would be to aim better. But if you get into a scenario where picking up a hatchet is the correct move, but you just happen to miss, then I'll just say, good job. That was a good time to pick up a hatchet. Just try to aim better next time. And I think that's totally fine, right? I think that's totally okay. I think as long as you're making the correct decisions, then aim is something that will come with time, and that's totally okay. And I'll try to butt in with advice whenever I can. But yeah, so I'm going to be focusing mostly on like your decision making and your strategy, and that as regards to like, I feel like it's really hard to give like mechanical advice for Huntress. I mean, there is some tips I can give here and there, but I feel like it's mostly just aiming, and it's kind of hard for me to give advice on aiming, right? It just comes with practice. So right off the bat, you spawn right over here. So one thing I will say is that when you spawn in a place like this, they are most likely going to spawn over there or back there, or sometimes back there. Like, it's obviously like one of the three corners. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably like over here or over there. Like, they could be at Shack, but I would say probably not. It's most likely to the far left corner or to the far right corner. That's usually what happens when you spawn in a corner of any map. Typically, obviously that's not 100%, but I would say that's pretty likely. You also don't have corrupt intervention or anything, so there's really nothing to protect these gens. Like, I'm kind of like right there. I'm surprised you didn't go a little bit deeper into that back right corner, or even a little bit deeper towards Shack. You kind of just very slowly hovered towards it. Even here, are you just looking at the actual gen itself? Huh. Interesting. So you're doing like a very loose patrol in the gens. See, I would have walked a little bit closer to the gens, but honestly, this works too. You come up with this, you hear it being worked on, you see scratch marks, you see a person. Okay. Don't rush this. You're not. Good. That was fantastic. That was amazing. That was also amazing. Okay. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because that was a good decision. I mean, you made a good decision there. Like, again, this was a very good decision for you to pick up a hatchet. You just aimed bad. It happens, man. Like, you did play it correctly. I mean, the fact that you went right through the pallet too was like a pretty big ball play. She dead-hearted you, and then you hit her with a hatchet. I mean, that was fine. There's really nothing that bad about that, right? You got dead-hearted. You missed the hatchet that you should have hit. But it's fine. I mean, in the end, you still got the down relatively quickly. It was still a good chase. So far, nothing bad to be said. I do think your build is a little bit odd, having Retribution completely alone. But hey, it just popped, and you're about to get a ton of value. So I guess that's fine, too. Okay, so there's somebody back on that gen. There's a dude right there. I can't even tell. I think the third guy was back there, but I couldn't really tell. Oh, the snipe? You actually could hit that. You could hit her. You can hit her. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but like the hitbox, like they have like pill-sized hitboxes. So her hitbox right now isn't her actual like exact model. Like for instance, if you threw a hatchet right there, it would still hit her, right? If you threw a hatchet right there between her legs, it would still hit her. You know what I mean? So also, because it's pill shaped, the pill is probably something like this. Which means if you can get a hatchet like right here, like there's obviously this little thing right here that's blocking it, right? Like she's hiding behind this, right? But if you can somehow get a hatchet, like say your hatchet was this blue marker, if you can get your hatchet like right here, like right on the edge of this object, that would still hit her. That would still hit her because of the pill-sized hitbox. And also because the hitbox of the hatchet itself is fucking massive, dude. These things are like refrigerators, man, I'm telling you. Like Huntress literally just lobs entire refrigerators at people. It's insane. So if you can see this much of their body, you can definitely hit them with a hatchet. Like you could have hit this. You look like you were eyeing it up and you were like aiming it up and you were like not sure whether you should go for it or not. You could have hit her like right now. You could have hit her. Still, you can hit her. Still, you can hit her. It's kind of a hard shot to make. I'll be honest. Like, if you went for it, there's a chance that you would miss it because you got to be somewhat precise. But you could have done it. I mean, it didn't matter anyway because she was kind of playing like a bot, so it's fine. Okay, I like the patience. I like the patience. I like the patience. Okay, you got to... Okay, she dead-hearted, so the patience paid off. But you got to throw it eventually? You got to throw it eventually. You got to throw it eventually, man. You gotta throw... Oh, okay. See, that I felt like you might have been too patient right there. Like, I like the patience, but that was a little bit too much. I'm gonna wait till the chase is over to see what happens. You just down her. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this. And I know this is something that people get annoyed by whenever I remind too much, but I don't know how else to do this, okay? Now, like, notice where you are when you first pick up the hatchet here, right? Like, you're here. By the time you actually throw the hatchet, like, keep an eye on, like, how far you actually travel. Like, it's kind of nuts. Like, you're here, and I know you only have 2 hatchets, but even right here, like, you're kind of zoning her, right? And you're also, like, there's corn, so you might be afraid of the corn or whatever. But really all you should be doing is waiting for her to, like, do a juke and then just instantly hitting her. Like, the second that she does a juke, just instantly throw it, because, like, most people don't, like... Most people are really predictable with jukes, and once they change direction once, they're going to take a second before they change direction again. So if they change direction, you could usually just ping him with it, right? So even, like, right there, you could have pinged him. Like, he just dead-hearted. So like even like right here would be a great time to release it and literally just throw it like right down here because she can't juke right. As a matter of fact, you can throw it like slightly to the left, like right there would be perfect. Like if you can throw it like right here, that would be literally perfect. Because I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe she is actually past this, but I think she can't juke right. She can only juke left. And if they're ever in a position like that where they can only juke one way, you can kind of like hedge your bet in a way when it comes to the hatchets and throw it slightly to the left. That way, even if they juke outwards, you'll still hit them. But like if they juke inwards, it'll still hit them too because there's a wall there. So if you would have released it right here, it probably would have been a guaranteed hit. Like you were fully wound and everything. This was a really good time to release the hatchet, and you didn't. You let her keep going. I mean, she did kind of turn to the right a little bit, so maybe I was wrong about that, but I still think that would have been a good time to release. This was also a good time to release, but again, I mean, you just didn't aim good, right? Which is fine. I mean, I don't think that decision making was bad. I just feel like you could have released that hatchet a lot sooner and like multiple different occasions, and that ended up taking like quite a while. And she traveled a lot of distance before you actually downed her. So, not exactly super time efficient, but honestly not terrible either. They're doing a lot of gens. You're gonna get a hook on her. They just now got the unhook. You can reload faster thanks to deerskin gloves, baby. Look at that deerskin's glove value. Holy shit. All right, you know they just unhooked over there. There's an explosion there. So it looks like you're gonna head over. This is kind of deep in the corner though. Like, okay, you're gonna kick this gen with Pop and Call It Brian. Although that gen had like barely any progress, so I don't even know if that was really worth. But I guess it wasn't not worth either, if that makes sense. Gonna go after the Michaela. Okay. She's in a pretty rough spot. This is okay. You should have hatcheted there. You should have definitely hatcheted there. So when you hatchet someone, they get way less distance than when you M1. So like this might seem like I'm nitpicking, but you know what? Let's see. Let's go ahead and see. Am I nitpicking? I kind of want to see how far she gets and if this actually plays a difference. Because you get way further when you M1. Like, I bet you don't get that. Wow, you do get that because she walked back into it. I take it all back. Okay, I'll be real with you. You should have got punished for that. She should have vaulted that window and then turned to the right to avoid your hatchet, but she kind of just turned left and walked right into your hatchet like a dingus. So it ended up being okay, but that was still the wrong decision. You should have hatcheted her. Like, I'm just gonna say it anyway. You still should have hatcheted her because they get way less distance whenever you hatchet them because you have a shorter cooldown. Like the cooldown from throwing a hatchet is like, I don't know, like a second and a half or something. Whereas the the cooldown from getting an M1 is like 3 seconds. You gotta do the entire weapon wipe animation. You slow down, so they get much more distance. Let's see what you do here. This is what she's running. That was way too ambitious. I feel like that's pretty... I think that probably goes without saying, but that was way too ambitious. There's no actual pallet here. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Even that was a little bit... Even that was kind of ambitious. You get a hit on him there, though. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this chase. Like, already I'm not a fan of this chase. I'm just gonna back up. So, like, first off, right here, you should have been picking up a hatchet sooner. Like, I think you kind of got the idea in your head a little bit too late. Because, okay, here's the thing about Huntress. If someone's running like this, right? If someone's going, like, side to side, like right here, so obviously, like, if they're going this way, they're gonna have to, like, come here, right? Like, okay, first off, this outside area, like if you go against this wall back here, you know, like basically everything that way is basically just a dead zone, right? All these random walls and shit are not safe. Like, all the safety is in the map. That's where all the pallets and windows and everything are. This stuff out here is not where you really want to be as survivor ever, you know? So if you can force a survivor back into that area, that's kind of a good thing for you as killer. So what happens here is this guy's just running this way, and you're a ranged killer. So you can literally just pull up your hatchet and look this direction. And he is now zoned. Like, he can't really do much of anything. Like, if you he has to be scared to cross, because when he crosses, he might get hit by a hatchet. And then what ends up happening is you kind of hold him hostage right here. Like, he has to stay behind these things, and he can't go anywhere else because you're sitting there with a hatchet. And then you can literally put your hatchet away and then start to, like, loop around this if you want. Like, you don't even have to throw the hatchet. You can literally just pull out the hatchet to zone him and keep him in place so he can't run anywhere. And then once he's, like, stuck here in this terrible spot, put away the hatchet and then chase him down and either hit him with a hatchet once you're closer or hit him with an M1 or whatever. Maybe there's a scenario where he goes around the outside and gets behind these walls, right? But even then, that's still fine. You do the same thing. You put your hatchet away and then you just chase him down because there's nothing out here. There's literally nothing here. It's just a bunch of random walls. So again, you were kind of late to pulling this up, right? Because by the time you were able to release it, he already was able to turn the corner, then you didn't get the hit. Like, if you would have pulled it up sooner, then you would have been more threatening. You weren't really that much of a threat to him because of how late you picked up. You do a little loop with him here, and then you go inside. Right here, like, I don't even know if I like this hatchet pickup either. Like, you could maybe say that you could have picked up a hatchet right here once you realized he was going inside to try to zone him here. Because again, same exact scenario, right? If he's going to go up inside, you can kind of like zone him out right here. You can hold a hatchet and then look right here. And then you kind of put pressure on him, right? He's like, oh, fuck, I got to juke. I got to not juke. Like, what the hell do I do? Like, it puts pressure on him and you like threaten him and you make him have to like think about his choices and you kind of zone him, right? But you don't do it there. And then you come inside and he kind of like, he's like, okay, am I going right? Am I going straight? And then once he commits to going straight, you're like, okay, this is a good time to pick up a hatchet. But honestly, this really isn't a great time to pick up a hatchet. Although, actually, it looks like, okay, I don't actually know if you can throw through this. I think you probably could. I think if you were going to pick up a hatchet here, the only time that you should do it is if you're going to commit to throwing through this hole. I think is honestly the only time. Because I'm pretty sure you can probably fit it through this little hole right here, like where the railing is out. I would assume anyway. But assuming this wasn't here, like say if this was hypothetically a solid wall, which honestly it might be. I've never tried to throw a hatchet through this. It looks like a place you can probably throw a hatchet through. But if this was a solid wall, this is not really a good place to pick up a hatchet because you still have this weird mind game of like, again, like he might juke out, and then if he jukes out, you got to react to it. And it's like this weird mind game. But also, like if he full commits and you get hit by it too. What I would have done here is I would have probably either A, picked up a hatchet and then waited for him to like commit and start going to the left and then threw it right here. Because like the thing about little holes in walls like this, like the thing that makes these so powerful is that survivors don't expect it, right? Like they don't expect to get hit by it. Like in this Yoichi's mind, I guarantee you his mind probably thinks like, oh, if I can turn this corner, I'm safe, right? Like that's probably what he thinks. So they don't really think about like, oh, I can get hit through this tiny little hole. So the idea is you let them get to what they think is safety, and then they don't even like think about the idea of juking, and then you fucking hit him anyway. Whereas like right here, obviously he's thinking about juking. He's like, oh, I'm vulnerable, I'm vulnerable, I'm vulnerable. I gotta juke. Whereas once he gets like right there, he doesn't even think he's vulnerable anymore. That's why holes, like that's why there's like little ass holes and these little like, I don't know, like flashy trick shot things that Huntresses do and like Deathslingers do. It's not all just for like flash. It's actually extremely powerful. Like catching survivors off guard and catching them when they think they're safe is so valuable to do. Like it is so strong. But anyway, you chase him here. I mean, I would have hatcheted him here, but I guess getting the M1 is fine anyway. Again, like it seems like I'm nitpicking, but like look at how long it takes for you to get a hit. And even the hit that you do get is just a basic M1 hit, and he also vaults a really big window. He's gonna get a ton of distance now. Like he's gonna be gone. Also, you should have been looking at No Way Out there. Or not, sorry, not No Way Out. I'm all ears. What the hell am I saying? Like, he vaults this window, right? And you hit him. Like, you should be, you should be backing up. Like, you should be holding S and, like, moonwalking backwards while looking forward to see where he's going. Because you can certainly, you can currently see his aura for, like, 6 seconds. So you're missing a lot of aura reading right now. That's going to give you a lot of information. Like, it just ran out. It just ran out and went on cooldown just now. So now you don't know where he is. Now you're just like, well, fuck, where'd he go? As a matter of fact, it looks like you're not even going to chase him, which kind of sucks. Like, that information could have been really valuable. You're going to come over here. I think kicking this gen is pretty reasonable. Oh, you're going to do the glyph. Hey, that's fair. I mean, archive challenges, you got to do them at some point. Not going to kick the gen. Honestly, with her hiding like that, I probably would have just kicked that gen. Like, if I were you, like, she didn't really look like she was going anywhere, right? Like, when you came up on, like first off, this Kate has proven this game. Or is this even a Kate? Or was that the... Or was that the Michaela? Am I dumb? Hold on. My whole argument might go out the window. No, it is the Kate. This Kate has kind of proven this game that she's not very good, and she kind of relies on stealth a lot, right? Which, again, I think a lot of playing this game is playing around the survivors. So this Kate is, like, going behind this, and she thinks she's hidden. I don't know why the fuck she thinks she's hidden, but she thinks she's hidden. And again, you go over here, and you do this glyph. You turn around, and the fact that there's no scratch marks here or anything, like there's nothing here, right? Like if she would have ran away from you doing that glyph, there would have been scratch marks. There would have been obvious signs of her running away. Like you would have known that she ran away. The fact that there's no scratch marks means that you know for a fact she is literally still right there, right? So what you can do is you can literally just kick this gen. Like you have Call of Brian, man. Like you have Call of Brian, and you can regress this gen a lot. I mean, that gen has a good bit of progress. Just like give it a kick real quick before you chase her. Because then it'll start to go into regression, and she's not going to get any distance, right? Like the main reason why kicking a gen over taking a chase is bad in a lot of scenarios is because you're giving the survivors distance that you then have to make up in chase. But in this scenario, you're not really giving up any distance because she's not doing anything. She's just kind of sitting behind the hay bales. So you probably should have kicked that gen. Also here, like, I don't know what it is about your aim. There's something about your aim that just feels shaky. Like it feels like you like flick really hard before you release or something. Like, I feel like I need to, like, slow this down. Because I don't know what exactly it is, but I feel like I've seen you do this earlier with your throws, too. Like, on one of the first downs you got this game, you kind of look like you flicked a bit. You do, like, a weird, like... Yeah, like, you're kind of, like, I don't know what's going on there. Like, what... Like, you kind of flick your aim around. I think what you need to practice doing... like when it comes to Huntress, or really any game where like you get one chance at hitting somebody with a projectile or a bullet, you know, if you're not using like a fully automatic weapon in any game basically, and you're shooting like a ranged projectile, something that you need to do is like really like take your time and focus with your shot. And sometimes I would say one of the easiest things you can do is literally just hold your aim in one place. Like for instance here, like one of the easiest things you can do, you know that her only safety is this pallet, right? That's the only thing that she has that will make her safe. Like if she goes over this way, death. If she goes this way, death. This way, death. Like everywhere is death except for right there. So what you can do is you can literally just put your, like, I mean, I know you don't have a crosshair, but you can put the center of your screen this direction and then just hold it there. And literally wait for her to come into the center of your screen. Like, you don't have to flick your aim around like crazy when you're aiming, you know? You can literally hold your aim and let her juke around, right? Like, say hypothetically, your aim is just like, bam, right? That's your aim. And this blue mark is Kate, and she's like, oh, I'm juking. Oh, I'm juking. Oh, I'm juking. Okay, I'm going, right? You just hold your aim and then throw it when she gets right here, right? Like the second that she gets right here, you just throw the hatchet and then she dies. There's really no reason to like flick your aim around and get crazy. Like again, obviously some people are like cracked FPS gods and they do like crazy flick shot shit. And I'm not saying that like flicking is always bad or anything, but I would say it's unreliable, and it's only good if you are some kind of like a crazy like Kovacs like aim trainer flick god. Like if it's something you practice all the time or something, then maybe. But if you're not like someone that's like an FPS god that trains to hit flick shots, then it's most likely just bad, and you're just kind of like panic aiming. You know what I mean? I think it's much better to just hold steady, focus, you know, kind of zone out, like hold down an area that you know is safe, right? Like if there's one area that's clear safety, hold that area, zone it out, make sure you're in control of the safe area. That way, if they try to take the safe area, you hit them and you punish them. But again, here you kind of just panic. Like it feels like your aim is really like shaky, and you just let her get the pallet for free. Even here, okay, and I'm being extra nitpicky now, but I mean, I guess that's the point of this. See, this is the worst time to kick it. Oh man. Okay. All right. I got a lot to say now. Okay. Oh, this was bad. You were doing pretty well up until the past like. You like okay, the first like 3 minutes of this was great, and then the past like 2 minutes have been bad. Okay, so here's the thing. When she gets this pallet throw, first off, it's very clear that this Kate is not going to loop a pallet. This Kate will never loop a pallet against you, ever. Well, I shouldn't say ever, but it's like, it would be like crazy if she did. It would have to be like a pallet where she's basically forced to loop and she has nothing else that she can do. So because that she because you know for a fact that she won't loop, you don't really even have to kick this pallet. You can just go around it. And a lot of the time, that's a big thing, right? Like you should be trying to stay in this chase, and you should be trying to just down her as fast as you can. So you can literally just go around this pallet, catch up to her, hit her with your one hatchet, follow up with an M1, and just get the down on her, right? It's weird that like you're now taking the time to kick the gen, because you're basically giving up the chase, right? Like you're letting her get away, you're kicking the gen, and now you have nothing. Like you have nothing again. So it feels like what keeps happening is you keep getting into like these little like micro chases where you give it like one try to get a hit, and then after it's done, you just stop, right? The same thing happened with Yoichi too. And then you're just like, now what? You're doing nothing. You're not chasing anyone. You're not doing anything. Like, yeah, you're kicking 2 gens, but like this is 2 gens. You know what I mean? Like they can like they don't even have to do these 2 gens. They can go do the other 2 gens and they'll still beat you, right? Like holding these 2 gens is not a winning strategy. It's honestly not really that good at all. And now they all ran away. The Yoichi healed from earlier. Like you have nothing right now. You have like, this is basically like the beginning of the match essentially. Like they're all full health. No one's injured. There's really no pressure on them whatsoever. You're kind of right back at square one. This is a really bad spot to be in this late in the game. You check on that gen, you hear a little bit of progress, but you must not think anyone's there, which it's hard to tell because that gen had a little bit of progress earlier. You see some scratch marks in the ground. All right. You're following them. You're looking around. Not the way you looked around was a little bit weird, but it's okay. You're finding them. I mean, I think there was someone to your left, but it's cool. Okay, there she is. Okay, so you find the young Jin. Someone ran upstairs too. Let's see what you play. Let's see how you play this. Now this palette kind of sucks, but you can play it in like a decent way. These guys are also playing smart and just running away from the generators that they know you're protecting, which is another reason why like playing those gens like that is bad, because once they realize that you're doing it, they'll just do this kind of thing, you know? That was good though. If you just go that was great. Everything about that was great. You should not have hatcheted there. You should have definitely just gone through that pallet and then M1. Like everything you did right there was amazing. These mind games are solid too. Those are solid mind games. They didn't work. Like those mind games didn't work, but this is also a palette that's very hard to mind game. So like the fact that you attempted was good because you're at least testing the survivor, right? Like if this survivor was worse at the game, oh, that's unfortunate. If that survivor was worse at the game, then that mind game definitely could have worked. And like look at that. There you go. That was good. This whole chase was amazing. I mean, that down on the pallet throw should have worked too, because you know. But I mean, it didn't because Dead Hard obviously. But that was great. Like your chase, like it's weird because you seem to know what you're doing in chase. It just seems like you just don't chase. Like, and again, they got that gen done now because you just have no pressure at all. I mean, to me, it's very clear what went wrong this game. But I'll circle back to it at the end. Yeah, I mean, like the second you committed to her, they all just jumped on the gens because they knew it was safe to do so. Yeah, we'll see what happens now. I mean, the game's not over yet, right? There's still Endgame. I think, yeah, we'll see. You have 4 hooks. You're chasing this guy down. He's in an open field. You're just hatching him. Again, you're kind of flicking still. Just hold your aim steady. Let him go into it. Let him go into your aim. Okay, I mean, that kind of worked. You got the hit anyway, but a little bit ambitious, but I don't think that was too bad to go for. Don't throw that one. Okay, you didn't. That was smart for you to pull it down. See what he does here. There's a pallet there. Looks like you might know it, though. All right. I mean, your timings here are a little bit off, but you're kind of recognizing and, like, adjusting, which is understandable. Decade. Oh, they're all here trying to body block. Ooh. Oh, it's like a swarm. Oh, it's a swarm of gamers. Honestly, you can just... Oh, no. I was going to say, you can hatchet one of the injured people if you need to, honestly. Like, I don't think it's going to help him get out. Oh, this guy's fucked. Yeah. You could just push these guys out now and get this kill. They did not play this very smart, to be honest with you. Man, like, your aim is so, like, I have to question, like, it's hard for me because I play on really low here. We'll let this finish out because I think I know what's going to happen. It's hard for me because, like, I play on really low sensitivity. So, like, it feels like your sensitivity is crazy high right now. Okay, the Kate's just literally dying. All right, this is where they all maybe die for each other. Okay, I mean, are you going to kill the Kate now? The Kate might have no, it was the Yui that was hooked, right? It was the Yui that was hooked. So Yui might have DS, Kate doesn't. So you get the Kate, you can hook the Kate. Yoichi's gonna have to go. Unless the Michaela gets like a miracle save, you'll probably get a kill here. But at this point, you're basically just fighting for a kill, right? Like, do I even want to give advice for this? Not really. Like, if you want to get a kill, face camp and push this guy out, right? Like, either camp or get hatchets and push that guy out. Either one will work. I mean, this works too. Like, they kind of can't do both, right? If Michaela went for the save there, you probably would have hatcheted her and downed her. She probably knows that. You can go push him out. Like, this will force him out, I think. Or he might even not. I was going to say he might not. Oh, Michaela was in here the whole time, so it's fine. Man, what is going on with your aim? Yeah, something you need to practice in terms of aiming. Like, again, you flick like crazy. I don't get, like, what is happening. Like, what is that? Like, what is going on there? I don't even get, like, what is going on. It's so weird. I feel like you maybe need to, like, lower your sensitivity. Or maybe just like, again, just hold your aim somewhere. Like, what? I don't even get this. Like, this one's extreme. Your aim, you kind of like track her pretty well, right? You're on her, and then you're just like, nah, fuck it. Like, what is happening here? Like, actually, what's happening here? Like, dude, your aim, it's so weird because your aim feels perfect. Like this, like, okay, if you released right now, it would hit. It would hit. It would hit. This would still hit. This would hit. This would hit. This would still hit her. This would still hit her. And then randomly, right as you're releasing, you're just like, no! And then you just spike it into the wall to the right. It's so weird. I don't understand what's happening. Like, is it panic? Are you panicking? I don't get what's happening here. It feels like it happens with almost every hatchet throw too. It's so odd. Like this one, it seems like you kind of hold it, right? Like even like right there, you kind of held it. It feels like the ones that you do well on are the ones where you just kind of hold it still and you don't like flick. You seem to do this weird flick thing, and I think you really need to work on it. So that's it. I mean, let's take a look at their builds. Okay, so they had a brand new part. They had, I mean, obviously like a bunch of dead hards. This was pre-patch. Again, keep in mind, this is pre-patch. This is back when dead hard was like stupid strong. I mean, they seemed like they were probably together because like they were playing in a pretty like organized way, but honestly they were pretty bad. Like, if I'm gonna be real, they definitely weren't good at all. Like, I think the Yunjin seemed solid in chase. Like, the Kate seemed terrible. The Michaela was like kind of meh. And I'm sorry if any of these people that are in this survivor team are like maybe watching my YouTube. Like, if they watch my YouTube and I'm over here shit talking them, I'm sorry. I'm just assessing, okay? I'm sorry. I shouldn't say shit and terrible, okay? They're not very skilled. They're not very experienced is what I'm trying to say. But the point is that this was definitely a winnable game. This was a very, very easily winnable game is what I'll say. Like, I definitely don't think this was unwinnable by any means. You definitely could have won. So just to address a couple things, like, your aim is something that I don't know what to say about. Like, I don't know what to say about your aim, dude. It's weird. Like, I don't get it. Like, you do like this crazy flick stuff. Like, that one was like a kind of reasonable flick given the circumstances. When do you throw your next hatchet? Right here? Like, even right there, like, it's like every hatchet you do like a weird flick. I don't get it. Like, right here, she's juking around in front of you. Just back up, hold your crosshair like right here. Just hold it right here. And while she's doing her dumb jukes, like, you don't have to flick, man. Like, you don't have to flick like this. Like watch her. Like watch like literally watch what she does. Like she's literally just like flopping around back and forth, you know? Hold on, we'll go here. Like look at her, she's just like left, right, left, right, left, right. Like if you just hold a hatchet, she's just gonna like she's just gonna dance around. If you can take her time and you can take however long you want, and then you can get the hit. You don't have to go for these like crazy flicks, man. It's just so odd because it feels like you're throwing away these like really easy hits, just trying to rush it and then going for like these weird flick shots that I just don't really fully understand. I think the same thing happens here too, right? I think the first hatchet you throw, it happens. Oh no, that's the one that you spiked at the side. Yeah, I don't know, man. Your aim is odd. I don't get it. Like it doesn't feel like you have bad aim because you'll hold your aim in like a decent spot and then just right before you release, you just flick. And I don't understand why. Like you need to like take grab your hand with your other hand and like yell at it, dude. Give it like a pep talk or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. If you're a righty, then your right hand, I don't know, if you're a lefty, whatever your dominant hand is, whatever your mouse hand is, there is something going on with that hand. Cause like this shit is fucking weird, dude. It's weird. I don't get it. Like it feels like it happens on almost every single throw. Like you just need to hold it steady and be like a bit more steady with your aim rather than like going for flicks. And like maybe that's just it in general. Like I think maybe in your eyes, like in order to aim well, you need to like move your mouse directly to the person. When in reality, I think you need to like try to utilize more. Okay, here's the advice I would give you. Take like 10 or 20 games and literally don't aim with your mouse at all. Or maybe not at all, but very little. Like say a survivor, okay, say in this exact situation right here, right? I won't even count this first one, okay? In this situation right here, don't use your mouse to change the aim. Just hold your aim in this direction and then strafe left and right. Like literally just use like your A and D keys to go this way and that way and just move yourself left and right and don't even touch your mouse or barely touch your mouse. Like don't make any erratic movements on your mouse at all. And just kind of strafe your way into having correct aim and then just focus on when you release as opposed to where you're aiming. Like don't try to focus on like, let me make sure that I'm moving my mouse to the perfect place. Just try to focus on strafing left and right and focus on the point that you release. Like try to think about when the correct time is to release the hatchet. Do that for a while. Like literally just do that for a while and hammer that into your brain until it's muscle memory. Like aiming is not just mouse movement. It's a lot of like your own strafing. It's a lot of like letting them come into your crosshair. There's a lot more to aiming than just like moving your mouse to the right place. And it feels like that's what you're trying to do. It feels like you're just trying to move your mouse to the right place every time. Like I'm not seeing any like strafing or anything at all. Like it's just like you're just like I need to move my mouse directly on top of them no matter what, and that's the only way I can get a hit. Like that's not really reliable. That's not a good way to get consistent hits, man. Like maybe if you're like Shroud or something that could work, but unless you're Shroud, you're just gonna end up missing a lot. So I think that's your big aiming issue. So I'm gonna drop that for now. That should help you with your aim. The other thing I wanted to say is you were doing like again, you do really well at the start of this match. Like you were doing so well, like the whole way up to here, you were still doing well. Like you got this down, you got this hook. Like you were doing so well up until like right. I mean, even this, like you even got this down in a pretty fast way. It was right up until the Yoichi. Like right here is where things took a turn. Now, obviously, this chase could have been played better, right? Like I talked earlier about how this chase could have been played better. But okay, again, this is something. A big reason why I quit doing this series is because this is the same advice that I feel like I give in every single video, and I felt like it was getting repetitive. And here I am already day one back feeling like it's repetitive again. But I'm just gonna say it anyway, okay? So this is a big mistake that I see so many killers making. But what they do is like in the mid game, for some reason, people feel like, I don't know, they feel like this weird need to like care way too much about protecting gens or something. Cause like what happens is you chase this guy around, you eventually get a hit. And again, you have I almost called this no way out earlier. Now I called it make your choice. What the fuck am I saying? You have I'm all ears, right? So like you could even keep track of this guy, right? You can keep chasing this guy. You don't have to just give up this chase. He eats a big stun from falling off of that. So he's gonna get some distance, but it's not like a chase ending amount of distance, right? So like there's really no reason to give up this chase. Now, a good reason to give up this chase would be if you're 100% sure that someone's on one of these 2 gens, which you can't be 100% on, but I think you're pretty confident that there's someone on this gen because I think you saw them there earlier. So this is actually not too unreasonable to lead this chase, right? Like, this isn't too crazy. Like, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but like, I'm not mad about it, you know? Like, it was a little bit weird, and I don't know if it was the right decision, but it was risky, right? Because if this Kate wasn't here, like, hypothetically, if she wasn't here and you wandered over here and there was nobody here, you'd be fucked. It would just be game over already, right? Just that one decision would make it game over. So it's definitely at least a little bit risky, but there is somebody here, which is nice. Now, again, here, everything about this is wrong. Like, if you're going to kick this gen, you want to do it right now before she runs away, right? So that, like, first things first. But, like, the fact that you don't chase her here, like, let's keep in mind, like, when was the last time that you hooked somebody, okay? Hold on. Like, the last time you hooked somebody was when you hooked this dude at, like, 4:14, right? 4:15, we'll say. 4:15 was the last time you, like, hooked somebody. And, like, you know, again, applying pressure is getting downs and hooks. That's how you get people off of gens. Like, the way that you stop people from doing gens is by getting people downed or hooked and forcing people to get off of gens to come save them and heal them and, you know, yada, yada, yada. That gets people off gens because they have to. If they don't, their teammates will die. So that's kind of the entire goal of Killer, is to get hooks, downs, to apply pressure and get people off of gens, right? So 4:15, right? Now, like, all this stuff happens over here. Like you do like this weird thing here. You do the glyph. You like go for this hatchet where again you kind of like your aim kind of goes crazy and you don't hit her. You break the pallet and then again like right here you just leave. Like this hurts so much right here. This is such a bad decision. This is just game over. This is game ending decision making right here. Like that was 2 chases in a row that you like started and then you just gave up immediately. So again, 4:15 was the last time you got a hook. And you're still not even chasing anybody. Like, you're not even in a chase. There's 0 pressure on anybody right now. The only little bit of pressure that you have is the fact that you actively pushed this Kate off the gen. But again, guess what? There's, like, still a million gens around the map. Like, she's just going to run to another gen and start working on it. So, like, you're not really doing anything. You're just, like, giving her a very temporary inconvenience. And you do the same thing, right? You go over to this gen and you kick it, and you're still just not doing anything. Like this is so long in the mid game, just literally doing nothing. You know what I mean? And this is not good. You know, this is like the equivalent of like if yo, I'm gonna do a behavior thing right now. Oh my god, you guys are gonna roast me, dude. I can't wait for all the memes on Twitter. This would be like if you were in the middle of a hockey match. this would be like if you're in the middle of a hockey match, right? And one of the teams just decided right in the middle of one of the, what the fuck are they even called in hockey? Periods? I don't know. I don't watch hockey, okay? I live in Canada and I don't watch hockey. It's a fucking disgrace. And one of like the sections of the game, if everyone on one of the teams decided to just take a nap, or if they decided that they don't actually care about like what the other team's doing, they're just gonna wander around the outside of the rink and just skate around for a bit and just like leave the goal open and do whatever, right? And they were just gonna do that for like, I don't know, 2 minutes or however long this goes on for. That's essentially what you're doing right now. Like you're just non-existent. Like there's just no pressure on the survivors whatsoever. They're just doing whatever they want. There's just no killer presence at all right now because you're just not committing to anything. You're just not chasing anything. You're not doing anything. Like really, like the only time that you want to like not commit to. So okay. And to give a little bit more insight on this, the times that you want, like, I feel like what confuses people about this is people don't know when they should and shouldn't commit to chases, because sometimes you can overcommit to chases too, right? Like there's certain situations where it's like, oh, you shouldn't commit to chases, and instead you should focus on gens. Now, if you had a really powerful 3-gen scenario, and also you had perks to like go with it, which you kind of do, like Pop Goes the Weasel is a really, especially old Pop Goes the Weasel was a really good 3-gen perk. Hypothetically, if this generator up here, if instead of being up top, if that was located, I don't know, right here, like if this gen was actually right here and it was really, really easy to like patrol these 3 gens over here, if that was the scenario that you were in, then that would make this a right play, because those 3 gens, one of those 3 gens would absolutely need to be done in order for the survivors to win. So therefore, protecting that area and not really like straying too far away from it is not really a bad idea, because you're basically like forcing them to come to you at some point. And as long as that's still risky, but like assuming they mess up and go down in that area, you can hook them deep in that area, and then you can basically camp a hook and also all 3 gens at the exact same time, which is really, really strong. So like in a 3-gen scenario type situation, this kind of a strategy could be viable where you just like let go of the chase and then you just like focus on your gens or whatever. Even that is not something that I would like recommend doing. That I think that's more of like a fallback plan, right? Like if the game's not going well and you're like, ah, fuck, this might be my only chance of winning, then that seems like a good time to do it. But like again, this is not a viable 3-gen. This gen is too far away. Like in order for you to get to this gen, you got to go up into the house, up the stairs, around, and then through the building, and then out there, right? And then to get back to the other ones, you got to go through and like off the balcony and down and then around. Like it takes so long. Like this gen is not a viable 3-gen to those gens. It's just not. So again, you committing to these gens and not committing to these chases is just weird. You're just not applying any pressure to them, and they can easily just wander away from the gens that you're protecting and just do these 2 gens and win the game, which they basically do. As a matter of fact, they don't, because you end up committing later, so it's kind of weird. Like, I just don't get it. Like, if you're not holding down, like, a 3-gen scenario type situation like that, you don't really ever want to do what you did. You want to just commit the chases, right? The only time that you want to not commit to a chase... Okay, the only other time that you don't want to commit to a chase outside of a 3-gen scenario is if the chase that you see in front of you is something that you know for a fact will take an extremely long amount of time to end. Like if like for instance, if you're like a weak chase killer, if you're like playing Wraith and there's a survivor that runs to like, I don't know, if there's like shack plus a really strong window right outside of like the shack window, if there's like one of those disgusting setups where there's like 2 strong windows right beside each other and also 2 pallets there too, you know, if it's like a situation like that, then yeah, you can just walk away from that because you're like, yeah, this down's gonna take like 2 minutes no matter how good I play, so who cares? Like in that scenario, you can walk away because there's no point, it's gonna take so long. And the only other scenario I'd say is if you're in like a scenario where you're on a huge map and someone runs into an area where there's no objectives at all. So, like, for instance, this kind of happens on this game. Like, the chase that you end up taking kind of goes that way, right? Which, again, this was really smart from the Yunjin. Like, you find this Yunjin and you chase her, and she runs just far away. Like, she runs deep into this, like, this back corner here has no objectives. And she probably knows it, right? She knows that there's 2 gens over there that needs done, and she knows that the 1 gen that's over here is done. So she knows that this area back here has no objectives in it. So for you to chase her back into this corner means that you are as far away as possible from all the other objectives, right? That's hypothetically a chase that you maybe shouldn't take. In this game, it's too late. In this game, I think you already wasted too much time. This game's over. There's really no way that you can salvage this unless they throw really hard. Like one of them would have to basically just like eat shit and die directly in front of you and give you a free hook. Otherwise, it's game over. Which honestly, the Kate might do. If you would have just let her go and look for the Kate might have just ate shit and died right in front of you. Like there was maybe still a chance to pull it back here, but it would have relied on them throwing really hard. But the idea is I think the only other time that you want to drop chase is in a scenario where they're going, like even this isn't that far away. There's some maps where they'll go really far away. So I don't know, it's a bit confusing, but I will say that like even a scenario like this where they're running away from the objectives can still be a good chase if you're confident or you think it's possible that you can down them quickly, right? The idea is that if they run you away from all the objectives and also keep you there for a long time, you're gonna feel it. Like you're definitely gonna feel it. And that's kind of what happens here, right? Like she takes you pretty far away. She takes you literally to the corner. You run around, you get a hit on her, but even that, and then you try like these mind games, and honestly, like your mind games are good here, but this chase does last a while. She gets this dead hard, which is again dumb because fuck dead hard. But this whole sequence takes a while, right? And this whole time you are light years away from every single objective. So again, it's rough. Like I don't necessarily think this was a bad decision to commit to this chase, but I feel like you should have done this way sooner with one of the previous chases, right? Like imagine if instead of getting this down at 7:18, imagine if you would have committed to the Yoichi whenever you first chased him, which was I don't know how long ago. And like imagine if you would have got this down, I don't know, at like 5:40 or something, right? Like how different of a game this could have been. You could have like hooked him, I don't know, somewhere. You could have got Pop Goes the Weasel. You could have kicked one of these gens. You could have started, you could have started applying more pressure that way. Like there's a lot of stuff that you could have done to like help snowball here, but in the mid game you kind of just did nothing. You just didn't really commit to any chases, and then when you finally did commit to a chase, it was after you had no pressure for like 2 minutes straight, so they were able to just like again they had nothing to fear here, right? Like once you finally do commit to this chase, they're all full health. And like they probably know where you are because you haven't like again they've like most like I'd be willing to bet that the majority of these survivors are just like stealthing around and watching you because again there's really nothing stopping them. Like there's no pressure on them whatsoever to have to do anything. Like they don't have to unhook, they don't have to do anything. So like I'm assuming at least a couple of them are probably watching you, they're probably seeing what you're doing, and like the second you like walk away, they probably just jump on gens. Like there's no need to heal each other, there's no need to do anything other than just do gens, right? So like the second that they know that you walk away, it's just over because there's just no pressure because you spent 2 minutes doing basically nothing. And yeah, I don't know, that's basically it. I think that's all I have to say. I'm going in circles. This is usually what happens with these videos, is I end up going in circles. So I think I'm just gonna stop there and say that that's it. Again, Huntress is kind of a weird one because I feel like it's hard to get into the technical stuff and like the mechanical stuff because it's mostly just aiming. But I feel like I gave some decent advice, maybe? I don't know. I think that's all I got, man. Commit to chases more and focus on not flick shotting. Hold your crosshair in the middle. Try to strafe into aiming a little bit. And that's it. I mean, I don't know. I got nothing else. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys like this. I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time. And if you guys do like this, it's a series that I'll be willing to bring back, although I probably won't be doing it as frequently. It's probably something I'll only do every once in a while. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys like it, I'll do more. And also, if you guys want to submit, I have submissions open in my Discord. So if you guys would like to submit some, come join in on the Discord. There's a channel in there called Gameplay Review Submissions. So feel free to submit one yourself if you'd like. And that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good rest of your night, guys. See ya. I'll take care. See ya. See you later. See ya.